Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm a little late today. I had some Ustream difficulties. They didn't want me to give me a broadcast button for a good 10 minutes. I kept trying to find one and couldn't find one. So I'm a little a little discombobulated because it took me a long time to actually find the broadcast button. It just magically appeared. I didn't do anything different. It just was there at one point. So happy Tuesday, and my throat is really dry today. I've been having allergies. I had an allergy attack yesterday, 3 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning. It's so bad that I couldn't sleep. I mean, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. So I have this whole thing of vitamin water, and I will probably be drinking the entire thing for the stream. And I hope I don't start sneezing. We are gonna do some painting of papers today. Just some basic stuff. I guess I haven't painted papers in a while, and I've had a couple comments from people saying that how do I paint my papers? Am I going to make a video on doing the papers? And I thought I really do need to make some papers anyway. I have been doing the collage thing, and I have been using up all my paper, so I do need some more. So I don't have lights on yet. I will turn lights on. It's hot here, and I am going to wait till the very last moment to turn on lights so you can see what's going on here, because I don't want to have heat exhaustion. Hello, Raven. So all right. So we are going to be painting papers just for the recording, just so everyone knows this is a live stream. There are people in the chat that are talking to each other, and they're talking to me, and sometimes I'm talking to them, and we kind of art along together. A lot of times people are doing stuff while they're here and getting stuff done. I said we were painting papers, and I've got a bunch of little gadgets over here to play with today. I have been putting some color down on some paper just so it'll dry and I don't have to use a heat gun. So that's what we will do today, is paint some papers for collaging or for whatever. I have got stuff everywhere. I'm in the process of organizing and trying to kind of pack up some stuff. I don't know a whole lot yet. It is very probable I will be moving. I will not know anything until 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, probably. I won't know anything next week, but I will know something the week after. So I don't know anything until then. So we're just going to continue on like everything is fine. I'm having a hard time packing stuff up because I'm not sure exactly what I need, and I don't know how long I'm going to have stuff packed up, and yeah, it's one of those things. So I'm kind of procrastinating, and I'm distracting myself too. I am finding stuff that has gone missing, and it's been kind of fun to see things I hadn't seen in quite a long time. Anyway, so I would like some light colors. And why do I not have more light colors down here? I am trying to still use up this paint. Most of it is very dry at this point. Let me turn on lights. This one is better. Let me turn on lights. So yeah, I'm trying to use up paint because I really don't want to move all this paint. The less stuff I have to move, the better it's going to be. And this stuff, This stuff is so old. I'm surprised it works at all. Uh-oh. And it's drying up for some reason really, really bad, because it was fine this winter. It was fine. I still had little bits in there, but now it is really, really drying up. But I do want to use it if it's at all usable. I want to use this stuff up. Oh, red streaks. That's what I get for using a card that I used on red. And all I am doing is scraping paint or the base layer on some paper first and letting it dry. And then we're going to play with some stuff. I did a video probably a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago. And it was called I Did Not Tweet. No, I was having such a hard time getting onto Ustream. I didn't even put it in the group, the Art Experiments group, because I was struggling I didn't know if I was going to be able to record there for a little bit. Okay, no, I did not tweet. So if you would like to tweet, I mean, I'm not doing anything fancy today, so I'm not really too worried about it. I am kind of just doing this for the recording. You saw a tweet? Hi, Button. You saw a tweet? Oh, you know, Ustream, I think, automatically tweets. Okay, so you tweeted. Hi, Debbie. So I am using stuff up so I have less stuff to pack. That is the ticket. I'm trying to use stuff up. I'm having some difficulty because I keep finding cool stuff to play with and then I stop packing things. And I also do not know what I'm going to need, how long I'm going to need stuff, so that's been a problem too. So I don't know anything. It's stressful. Yes, it's very stressful. All right, so that's nice and almost dry. So that's all I'm doing is scraping some paint on some pieces of paper. I've got some book pages out here to just add some paint to, just some various different kinds of things. I've got some scrap paper. And I have a little bit of whatever. Oh, here is some paper here. I don't know where anything is anymore. When I have some scrap paper that needs a little bit of paint, a little bit of color, I'll throw it in here. And I'm hoping I'll remember that I have that and grab some of that to add some color to that. And I don't want to deal with these paints. I just want to use them up. Does that make any sense? Probably not. So I've got some pages here that I have put some color on that are dry. I'm going to let these guys dry a little bit and rotate stuff. So I'm just painting paper. Dorothy. Squirrel. Yes, squirrel. Squirrel. Say, oh, that's where that went. I have not seen you in a year. How have you been? And where have you been? I definitely didn't put you here. Kind of thing. Yes. All right. So I need a little thingamajigger to put some paint in, and I forgot to grab one. I don't know what happened to my other one. I've got paper everywhere to put wet papers on, so excuse the crackling as I walk through on my papers. I have a little sour cream lid to put some paint on. do some stenciling, and play with some toys. I was saying, okay, so let's see if I can not get distracted again. Wow, my mind, now that I've tried to get on and had such a hard time finding a broadcast button, now my mind is just all over the place. I did a video about a year ago called Acrylic Experiments. I believe it was called Acrylic Experiments, where I did a bunch of painted papers really, really fast just to get color down on a page. And I played with all kinds of stuff. And so I've got a lot of that stuff out again, and some new stuff, a lot of new stuff. So here's the sponge. It's just an old kitchen sponge, but it does add color in kind of a cool way, in a splotchy kind of way. I'll let that dry. Use that up. And I got some water down here to put some stuff in when it gets dirty. So I don't know if I need the sponge so much, but I like that, so I'm going to let that dry. But I do like to stencil a little bit. Are you guys having a hard time? Is Ustream messing with you guys now? Should I continue? Are we okay? Are we okay? Sometimes when Ustream is acting up, the recording is not very good, so I'd like to try to make sure that it's kind of doing something all right. I think I want metallic purple. Do I have a metallic purple? I do have a metallic purple. It's almost gone. Maybe I should use that up. I've got little paint globs everywhere because I haven't used paint in a while. Paint is messy. And I tend to not like to have too much of a mess going on. Here's a little spouncer. This one's a textured one. It's kind of a sponge kind of thing. And the light is just too much light or not enough. It's washing out everything so you can't see the texture on that. Wow. There we go. See if we can focus. It's one of those, it's not really a sponge, it's kind of I guess it is a sponge. I don't know. What is that? It's really a textured, weird kind of thing. But I like these. I also have the normal ones. Of course, I can't find them. What happened to them? Oh, here they are. Here's the regular. These are the sponge ones. But this one's a textured one. Obviously, I use the textured one a whole lot more. But let me use the sponge one, because I like to make circles with them. And I twirl them. I need more paint. And I have to work quickly because it's so hot in here. My paint will dry up really, really, really fast. Hi, K-Berg. Really, really, really fast. So let me make some circles on this one. And we'll come back to it when it dries. Use up all the paint. Elizabeth. So I don't have a whole lot planned today, just playing with some paint. Trying to use some paint up so I don't have to move it. Okay, so the more color the better. And for a sponge with acrylic paint, you need to put it in water right away, because as soon as that gets hard, dries and gets hard, you won't be able to clean that out. So I've got a bucket down here to put stuff in so I can get stuff clean. So I can use it again, maybe. Maybe. Get the acrylic stuff out of it. I like the polka dots. I'm going to have to come back and put some more circles on that. And let it dry. So that's all I have planned. It's a little bit of stenciling. We'll do some stamping. We'll do some fun stuff. Let's see, what else do we have here? That one's kind of wet, so let me put that down. I have got a bunch of little gadgets and doohickeys and thingamabobs and some stencils to mess around with. One of the things that I think this is in some do-it-yourself stamp experiments. I've got a couple of videos on homemade stamps. I think there's probably 3 because we kept coming up with more stuff. So this is a piece of cardboard on a lint roller with some rubber bands on it. And I had another one to show how I did it. And where has that gone to? Wow. Wow. Yeah. Here's another lint roller. Oh, here it is. Here we go. All right. So this is what I've been doing. Here's another lint roller, and I just put the little foam, the fun foam, cut out some little pieces in different shapes. You can see it's dimensional, kind of. It's the thin foam, and I always get questions on what that stuff is. So let me show it. I got this one at Walmart. It's foam sheets. This one's a small one. They do come in bigger sheets, but I don't do a lot of big stamps, so the small sheets just suit me very well. These are the thin ones. There are thicker ones, and there are sheets that have sticky sides, so that all you have to do is stick them on a piece of cardboard. I cut shapes out of these, and I make stamps with the fun foam. And one of the stamps that I've made, oh, here's some of them. Here's some of the ones I've made. The leaf one, and it is very well used and needs to be redone. And we could probably do some of those today too, but I've just cut out a leaf shape. I drew the leaf pattern with a pen and I glued it on a piece of cardboard. That is all that is. Here's some squares with some circles in it. This one's put on a piece of plastic, and I use those as stamps. Here's another cardboard piece with an arrow on it, and some more chevron ones. So I just put this fun foam on a piece of cardstock long enough. I had to measure it so that it would fit around my lint roller. Oh, this one's too big. Oh well, it must be for this one. This one's, I think, a little bit smaller. And then you can either I put rubber bands around them and then use it as a stamp. And I like the lint roller because it rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. Now I thought instead of trying to attach it with rubber bands that I would put some shapes on cardstock. I've got all these tubes from some kind of labels, I think. Someone gives them to me. They're just garbage, so they give them to me because I can wrap that cardboard around. And I think I've got quite a few of these, so what I think I'm going to do is actually glue it on and then put, or even just glue the shapes onto the roller. And then use some kind of stick and use it as a roller. I don't have a stick right now. I haven't found one yet. I could even use a pencil or a bunch of chopsticks and just roll the stamp. It has to be bigger because that's not gonna work. I have to roll the stamp. Anyway, so I've not had a chance to work on that because I'm packing stuff up, not making stuff. But we're going to do that. So I think it would be a lot of fun to have a bunch of rollers with stuff on them. Anyway, so that's after the move. And this is, I think I want to put some lines on this yellow paper. So I'll show you. I'm going to ink up my rubber bands. My brayer is too small, or too big. My brayer's too big. It won't fit. It won't fit on here. I don't think it will. Anyway, let me do this first. Squirrel. I'm getting distracted again. And that just gives me some lines. Little stamped lines. Let me do the purple one too. My ink pad is also going dry. It really gets hot in here. It's in a corner of the building that gets a lot of sun, and I don't think the insulation is very good, so it gets really, really toasty. It's at least 20 degrees hotter in this room than the rest of the apartment. So it gets real hot. So that is my lint roller. And then these guys, let's do a leaf. These guys, get some of this stuff out of the way, are just stamped. Like I said, I need to redo that because the lines aren't quite as embedded as they were when it was brand new. They're getting smushed down and not working as well. Oh, really? Your toilet paper rolls? These are just a little bit smaller. I've got the foam brushes as well. Let me see what I've got here. Here's a toilet paper roll. Well, maybe it will fit. I have the foam ones too. It will fit. Oh, that'll be good. That'll be very good. So I've got a ton of these, so I am going to be gluing all kinds of shapes on those to make. I've got toilet paper rolls too, but these aren't as sturdy. These are really sturdy, really, really sturdy, and they're going to take a lot of abuse. And I've got probably 20 of them, so I'm going to be able to make all kinds of patterns and stuff. So that'll be good. So I'm going to make some homemade rollers. So yeah, I guess they will work on there. I was trying to find a child's rolling pin, but they don't make child's rolling pins anymore. I mean, I guess people don't make pies from scratch anymore. They buy them at the store, right? So why kids don't understand how to make pie crust, and they don't use rolling pins, and they're not in any of the little toy thingamajiggers like they used to be in the good old days when I was a kid. I can't find. I've been looking for a toy rolling pin for probably a year and have not come across one yet. And the regular rolling pins are way too expensive to deal with. So that is some stamping. And then on top of that, so I'm going to put this away for now. Now that I know that it works. Try to get some of this stuff out of the way. And let's put some yellow and stencil a little bit of, this is a dish, a sink. It's a kitchen sink drain strainer. Hi, Cat. Yes. I like to make my own pie crust, but no one really does it anymore. They buy the pie crust already made at the grocery store. So what are you going to do? So I'm just going to use my little pouncer again with some yellow, and I'm going to try not to use too much paint, so I'm kind of wiping some off. But I'm just going to use this strainer for some polka dots. I got too much paint on there. When you get too much paint, it pushes underneath your stencil, and it's kind of messy, but that's okay, because we're just going to rip these up and use them in collage anyway. Still quite a bit of paint. So I like to layer stuff up and just keep layering things till I feel like it's got enough stuff on it. I do that with a lot of stuff, don't I? Just keep layering things on, putting things on until I feel like it's got enough. I like the little dots. I'm getting paint everywhere. Paint everywhere. I like the little dots. And that's probably good enough for a painted paper to use in collage or background or whatever. I did not find any rolling pins at the Dollar Tree at the holidays, and I was looking like crazy. And I was in different states looking at the Dollar Tree, because that's about the time when I was looking for nail polish with the stars in it. I have been really looking because I wanted a rolling pin, and I have not found any anywhere at any time of the year. I'm very disappointed. So I'm going to put that one aside. I'm going to call this little piece of paper done. And I'm going to put it way over there so I can step on it later. So here is that yellow that I did the sponging on, and it's pretty dry now. So I need to use up this last little bit of yellow. What can I use? Let's do, should we do yellow on here? I don't want to do yellow on here. Well, let's do this circle stencil. Came from M, and she put it through a die cutting machine or something. It's just a file folder with a little bit of matte medium on for a little bit more strength. Just to make some circles. It's just a cool little stencil. So I'm just going to put a few circles down just to use up this paint. And adding paint to the stencil is actually adding more layers to it as well. So it helps strengthen the stencil. And then I can clean that off. Acrylic paint's messy. And I think that's why I don't use it very often, because it's really just, it's messy. You have to clean it all up. If you leave it on a brush or a sponge or something and it dries, then you've got a mess. And it might be a regional thing, but I went to Virginia I went to Virginia for Thanksgiving, and I was looking for star nail polish because I had taken every bit of star nail polish from the Dollar Tree that I have here. So all along the way, I was looking at every Dollar Tree that I could, which was quite a few, and not one had, they didn't have my star nail polish either, but not one had any toy rolling pins or even rolling pins in general. None. So I don't know if I was just late to the game and everybody else had already bought them, or they just didn't have them this year. I don't know. Still don't have one. I do like the dots. I'm going to let that one dry. You have book paper that yeah, I like to paint on book paper. I do like to put a little bit of color on my book paper, on some of it, just for color and interesting, and so I'm not using up a bunch of scrapbook paper. I did have there it is. I have a little towel to wash off my hands. Okay, so that is one experiment. Let's see. So that's the dish drain. We like the dish drain. I mean, I love the little dots. I love this little thing. So I have two of them. Yvonne from England sent that to me. The ones that I had a little post in the center, and I couldn't get it on the paper. So she found these wonderful ones in England and sent to me, and so I've been playing with them. I have been loving them a lot. So that was kind of a weird yellow. It looks kind of lime green on there, and I'm not really sure I like that combination. So let's see, let that dry just a little bit, and I'll work on this one. What kind of color? Put some red down. This one is flamingo red. You had a Dollar Tree that actually had some rolling pins? I'm jealous. I am jealous. I am going to brush some paint on here on one of my stamps. So I have a thin coat of paint. And let's see how that works. Oh yeah, we like that. Well, I like it anyway. Yes, yes, yes. I like red and purple together. I do. Bye, Carol. Thanks for being here. So that's all I'm doing today. I need some painted papers, so I'm just kind of playing and messing around and using up some paint, kind of. I got paint everywhere on this poor stencil. Let me grab one of these, because that would be kind of cool with red squares on it. And since I got some more red paint, I'm going to use it up. Using it up. I poured it out. Time to use it up. I noticed the Dollar Trees. They are very, very different. I've got 3 of them, and they all have different stuff. They never have the same stuff, which is kind of good unless you're looking for something specifically. And then it's not so good when no one has it. I like these squares. And then after this paint dries, we're going to do some mark making. So maybe some doodling. I'm not much of a doodler, not really good at it yet. But I'm going to try to put some marks on some of these. See what happens. I like these squares on this turquoise. I do. Let's see if we can use it up here. Not much paint left on it. Let's see if I can clean off this brush on another one of these pages. Not going to waste any paint. So I'm going to clean off that stamp with a baby wipe. I don't usually use paint on these handmade stamps. I don't like having to clean up the paint. That's my problem. Let me put that in some water. I think that's my problem altogether. Paint is messy, and it takes a lot of time to bring it all out and put it all back and clean it all up and make sure it dries right and doesn't stick to everything. I think that's good enough. So I can use it again. All right, so I'll let that dry. Got some red squares on there. Let that dry. Kind of like that. So what else do we have to play around with? Let me get another piece of paper out. Let me put something on that one. Maybe some more red. Some red stuff. Since I've got it kind of out here. I also, and this is the first time I'm showing this little gadget, I rolled up some corrugate for some texture. Rolled it up, and I put a rubber band around it to keep it all rolled up. So this is an experiment. see if we can get some paint on there. Paint doesn't want to go on there. Of course, it's an experiment, and it's not going to work. I think I need more paint. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. You found the strainers on Amazon? Yep, that's it. That's how it came. Yeah, I need more paint. That's funny. See if that works any better. Not really. I really did it fast. If I had had it all on one size, if I had had the straight edge straight, it might be working just a little bit better, but it's a little something anyway. Am I out of focus? These are, yeah, kind of like that little swirl. Yeah, we're getting better. I think I'm mushing it flat, so it's actually working a little bit. I get quite a bit of paint on there too. Put another one right here. Yeah, it worked all right. It's good enough for some painted paper to rip up and glue on some other stuff. So let me use up this red paint on, let me just get another piece of book page out and just kind of use it up. And let this other one dry. I didn't realize that was metallic stuff. Oh well. Oh well. I might just leave that one. I might actually put some circles on there. I'm going to put that over here to get it dry. I am going to add, I like lid circles. I've got this little tiny, I don't know what the lid came off of, but it's a little small lid off of something. I do this with larger things too. Just a dab of gold. For some reason I like gold circles. And get the lid all nice and painty. And then put the circles down. Not too thick, so they will actually dry eventually. I guess it's hot enough in here, it'll dry. It will dry. I do like some lid circles. Get enough lid circles to go in here. So when I tear it up, there's circles everywhere. Get it off the rim. That one got really thick, so let me take some of that off. So I am going to let that one dry. The paint is kind of thick in the circle and the lid areas in some places, but it dries and it really looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to call that piece done. It's got quite a bit of stuff on it, and I'll be able to use that later. Put it in the done area. And this one probably will be kind of neat with some circles on it. So let me put some more paint down here and do some more. I really like lid circles. Try not to get these so thick. You can see these a little bit better. See how shiny and gold and shimmery they are? I need more paint. This takes up a little bit more paint than I thought it did, which is, I guess, what I want it to do. Serious business making circles. I got quiet there, didn't I? Making all these circles. There. I like that. Gold is the best for circles. I don't know what it is about gold, shimmery circles on top of stuff that just make it really cool. That circle got really thick. So I'm going to put that in the drawing area. Oh, here's one that I did earlier. I scraped some paint on and then used that strainer with some red on a book page. So let's add some more stuff to this one. What else do we have? I also have this little gadget that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's a baster. It's got really flimsy. What gold is this? It is Folk Art Royal Gold. And I am just going to use up some of this and make really weird marks. Non-descriptive marks. Uncontrolled marks. Just to use up that pretty gold paint, because I love gold paint. I've got two golds, the Royal Gold and the Inca Gold. It doesn't put a lot on there. Let me just clean this off so I can use it another day. Let's use, I'm going to use the gold again. Just a little bit, and play around on this page over here and see what happens. Add some sparkle. Add in sparkle. You use that at the tool. The same thing. I got this at the Dollar Tree thinking that it would make spatters, and it doesn't really spatter very well. So let's investigate spattering just a little bit. Let me put some more gold in here. I don't like that one very much. And some water to really make it spatter worthy. Make it drip or something. Ooh. Got another piece of, this might work. Well, I have another piece of book page that's got purple on it, so let me grab that one real fast. Get these out of the way, because this might be kind of cool. I was using up my last little bit of purple. It doesn't spatter very well. You would think it would, but it really doesn't. For some reason, it just doesn't. But it does add just a little bit of nondescript marks. What I wanted to try is, where is it? Here it is. Here it is. Toothbrush and a comb. Now that I've got all these spatters on here, so I am going to dip the toothbrush into this watered down gold paint. And let's see if I can do this without getting it everywhere. Nope, it's not working. It should be working. It is working a little bit. It's a nice fine mist. Really is a nice fine mist. Need some more paint, I think. Really a fine, 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 fine mist. Let me put it in the corner here so you can see it. And you see how fine those little dots are? So that works kind of nice. It almost works a little bit better. Now I've got a really messy comb. Yes, I do like just to use all kinds of weird tools and brushes and just see what happens. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Some swirlies. I'm going to let that one dry. And another thing I wanted to try, do I have some more pink purple? I do have a little bit more purple. The comb didn't work. I'm putting it in the water. Okay, so some more of this gold. And I am going to, it's got some red to it. My water's dirty. Mix up that gold. And I have bundled up a bunch of Q-tips. I got these at the Dollar Tree a long time ago. It was a bag of 700 Q-tips. 700. A lot of them didn't have the cotton on the other side. They were really cheap, but 700 for $1, I couldn't resist, and I still have, I'm almost done with the whole package, but still have quite a few. So I'm going to put the paint on there and make some dots. I like my strainer better, I think, but it does kind of work. Wow, I am so hot. So hot. So, kind of some interesting little smudges there. Let me do that with some red on this page. I don't know if I need that toothbrush anymore. I'm going to put that in the water. Too much paint. Less paint is better. Looks like little flowers. Little flowers. Let that dry. Is it thin enough? It'll dry. I think it is. That one's iffy. Because I want to put some pen marks and stuff on these afterward. Let's see, what else do I have? I got this piece of paper. And I don't think I can save that. It's going to dry up and be bad. I have some punchinella. We like punchinella. And I'm going to use a sponge and get just a little bit of paint on the sponge and use the punchinella as a stencil. A little paint for stencils goes a very long way. I usually put way too much paint on my sponge or brush or whatever, but I do like that. That's turning out really nice. Put some more over here since I've got stuff on the sponge still, some paint on the sponge still. Using it all up. So those are punchinellas. And I'm going to also use, where is it? Oh, here it is. This is drywall tape. Now I have the roll somewhere so I can show you what it looks like. You get this stuff at the hardware store. Here it is. Get this stuff at the hardware store. It comes in a great big huge roll. This one has sticky back to it, so I can paint it all up and then just sticky it on something. But I just love all the little holes that it has. Little chrysanthemums. Little mums, yes. Little mums. And I am going to use, some of the other gold I've got. Oh, this one's pure gold. I thought I had Inca too. I might have Inca too. I think I like gold. Yep. Inca gold and pure gold. I didn't realize I had 3 different golds. Metallic golds. Oops. I'm going to use the Inca gold because that seems a little lighter in color. A little lighter. It's been a while since I've used this stuff. Yeah, it's really a light gold. And I am going to put some circles on top of the circles that I already made. More paint. More paint. More paint. Wow, it's either too much or not enough, huh? There we go. I love the little circles on top of the bigger circles. I love gold. It's so rich looking. It makes everything interesting. I don't like the way it sticks pages together though, even after it's dry. Don't like that at all. So that one is good. I think I'm going to put some circles on top of that. And let me put some, since I've got some gold still, let me see what it looks like on the red. See if we can not let it move around too much. Oh yeah, some little gold circles. How cool is that? I like it. And I've used up all my gold again. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Ooh, look at the shimmer. Look at the shine. Can't really see it very well in this light, but it really does just add a little neatness, coolness, a little shimmer. See if I can use it all up. Get my sponge here cleaned out. I don't usually do anything with the drywall tape. I use it quite a few times and then get it all nice and painty and colored and stuff, and then I will glue it down on a page just like that, or sometimes I rip it up. But I love this stuff. I really do love this stuff. Well, I still have stuff on my sponge. Before I clean it up, let me put those two someplace to dry and grab another piece of paper. What else do we have? Yeah, we can use this one because that didn't turn out real well. We'll use some more of that. Let's see what the pure gold looks like. Shake it up first. Pure gold. It's pretty light too. And this is a piece of plastic that comes on the nectarines, or I mean not nectarines, tangerines at Christmas time when you buy the little angels, I think is what they're called. This is the netting that I got off of those. Sometimes it's little triangles or diamonds, but I've had this one for a very long time because I liked that pattern. It kind of reminds me of fish scales when it gets done. So I use that as a stencil. And I had too much paint there. But I like the way that looks too. Can you see that? I do like that. Yeah, that screen thing. It's like a flower. Yes, I had one, and I think I don't have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it, but I don't have it anymore. I used it, and I couldn't get it clean, and it got clogged up. I don't remember what happened to it. Yes, there is a frozen dinner it's a microwave meal that has a screen thing in it so that the sauce is in a different container than the veggies. So when you microwave it, everything cooks at the right way, and then you put it together at the end, and that does have quite a cool little screen in it. So I do like that, and I have a bunch of paint on this. Let me just clean off the paint on one of my under signatures, just so I don't waste it. There we go. And put that away. Try to see all the things I've used and all the things I need to use. What else have I not shown you? Here's another little gizmo that I've never used before. These are, oops, that just came out of there. These are the register tapes, the paper for receipts in registers. That middle one does not want to stay in there. I have someone that collects those for me and brings them home to me. Okay, it's so dark you can't see them. Okay, there, you kind of see it there. It's just the spool that the paper is rolled around on. And when you change the paper out, you're left with this spool. So I've got 7 of them here, and I wrapped a rubber band around them. Uh-oh, there goes my brayer. I wrapped a rubber band around them. Healthy Choice steamers. Yes, yes. Hello, Janet. So I need another piece of paper to see how well that transfers paint. Here's one that I started with. Let's see what, I've got gold in there. My fingers are all painty. I don't want to waste all that gold. Can't waste any gold. Gold is too pretty. I really like gold. I'm more of a silver person, but I just love the looks of gold paint. All right. So let me use, this one might show up on here. Let's see how that works. Well, like I said, I've never used this before, so it probably won't work. Let's see what happens. Oh, I really like that. I think we found a winner. Yes, yes, yes. I got a new stamp that I just love now. Uh-oh. The middle one keeps coming out, though. I'm going to have to glue it somehow so it doesn't mess up the whole thing. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. I do like that. I'm trying to use up this paint now. That might be kind of cool on here. Ooh. Need a little bit more paint, I think. Remind you of a gun barrel. This is, now you can kind of see it now. These are the spools that go around register tape for cash registers. When you're a cashier and you have to change the receipt paper, this is the spool that all that paper is on. I have someone that saves me these kind of things. So these are all the spools. There's 7 spools that I wrapped with a rubber band to keep them all together. And it does kind of remind me of a gun barrel. Not that I want to be reminded of a gun barrel, but I do like the pattern. It could be a flower. kinda. That, yes, I just love it. Love the pattern that it makes. It probably won't stamp very well, but it sure does transfer paint nicely. That one was a nice print. Not too much paint. It's really nice on the gold. It's a flower. Yep, yep. So I like that. That's the first time I've ever used anything like that for stamping with. And I have just a little bit more paint to use up here. And where can I put it? Let's see here. Oh, I've got another one of these pages. It'll be cool on there. Yes, yes, yes. I put some underneath, some on top. I love it. Octopus legs. I don't know what it is, but I am liking this. Oh, it would be really cool on this page too. I like, let me see. The color would be kind of interesting as well. Let's see what happens. Yes, I really like this. I really, really do. I guess painting papers can be fun. I don't do it very often because I don't have a ton of fun, but it can be fun. Uh-oh, I'm running out of time here. All right, so then I've got this paint on here that I need to use up. I forgot about my little sheets of little scraps of paper that I need to use. See if I can get the paint off of it. Not really. I have to baby wipe it. It's still not coming off. It's getting into all the little crevices. I'm going to clean it up enough so that when the paint dries, it'll still make the marks. So I'm trying to get the paint out of there a little bit. I'm going to put it in the water so I can use a toothbrush and scrub it later, so that it will keep making those wonderful marks, because I really, really like it. It's a good thing that I have a toothbrush in here already. All right. All right, so I'm going to have a ton of stuff to clean up after this. Oh well. So I'm really liking this piece of paper. I might just leave that one because that's pretty cool just the way it is. And I kind of like this one too. It's kind of simple. It's got just a little bit on there and a lot of book page shows through, but sometimes that's what you want, right? Thank you, Kat. It's fun to watch my little experiments. So I'm going to let those dry. What else do we have to play with? Use this baby wipe and use up this paint. I wonder why I never run out of paint, because I just use it to use it and use it and use it. All right. What other little gadgets do I have over here to play around with? I have some regular stencils, but I don't think that would be fun anymore. Here is some bubble wrap. And I'm going to put, what kind of color? Let me put some of this light blue. I'm just going to brush it over the top and kind of munch it down. To put some little circles down. Put some on this one so you can see it. Just some polka dots. Oh, Debbie is painting paper too. You have all your gadgets and toys out. Hi, Juju. I like these little polka dots. I have some smaller bubble wrap. Let me put some over here. And some over here. I tend not to get to the edges of paper for some reason. I got most of the paint off. And I use my bubble wrap till it is flat and horrible. It's not like I don't have a ton of bubble wrap to use, but I can't throw it away until it just does not work anymore. All right. Now I'm just going to use up this light blue. Light blue. Oh, a balloon. No, I've never used a balloon. Didn't think about that one. So there's the large bubble wrap, and I have, if I can find it, small bubble wrap. Here it is. I have this tiny, tiny, itsy bitsy little bubble wrap. And I don't have very much of it, and I don't come across it very much. So I don't ever use it because I'm afraid I'm going to use it all up and I'm never going to find any more. I want a dark blue. Do I have a dark blue? Here's a dark blue. So I hoard it, and I never use it. I have it wrapped around, this is a stamp block, and I've had it for a long time. It never had a stamp on it. It was just a block. I think I got it at a stamp store. And for some reason they just gave me the block. I don't know. So I wrap it around this stamp block and kind of made and stapled it so I kind of had a handle here. And I'm going to paint oh yeah, yeah, I like the little circles. Got quite a bit of blue here. I like the little baby circles. Oh, well, that's good. You made a whole bunch of jelly prints, and now you're going to put more stuff on your jelly prints? Different kinds of things to paint with. It makes such a mess, though, is the only thing. I love bubble wrap. I do a bubble wrap with watercolor, and I will show you guys that sometime. Not sure exactly when, but I like watercolor with my bubble wrap. Got hair in my mouth. Hair in my mouth. Yeah, it's really hard to find. This little tiny bubble wrap is really, really hard to find. And I savor it. Here's some, I'm going to put some of this on top of some painted papers. I did this last week. I used the egg dyeing stuff. Of course, I didn't dye eggs, I dyed paper. I put my papers in a great big huge aluminum sheet that I got at the Dollar Tree. Actually, it comes in twos, package of two at the Dollar Tree. These great big aluminum baking pans, I guess, and they've got a lip on them so you can add water and the water will stay kind of put. So I would put a bunch of papers and stuff in there, kind of like that, and use a spray bottle, and I sprayed color on the pages, and then I put them in the oven to dry them, and then I would put different colors on, and I spent probably 4 hours coloring all these papers. I've got quite a few. I mean, it's quite a good pile here. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them, but they might need some bubble wrap bubbles on them. Since I've got the blue out, might as well. Got some blue to use. So I used this egg dye, and there was the golden egg. You're supposed to color one of them. There was a gold paint in there, so I added the gold paint to some of the papers. So some of them have gold paint on them. Came in the package. And so I kind of used up all these, and I put the egg dye, actually here is the package. 24 karat eggs, coloring kit. And it was all these colors with gold paint. So what you're supposed to do is color your eggs and then brush the gold paint over them to make them all shimmery and stuff. I thought that the dye would have some metallic to it, but it didn't. So, but it turned out fine. I got a couple little bits of egg coloring kits to do that with. I have some left too. I didn't use them all, so I got them, of course, after Easter. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Bojo. So let me put these somewhere where they'll dry and not stick together. Thank you. No sticking, no sticking, no sticking. I'm running out of space now. I've got quite a few pieces of paper over here. I need to just use up this blue paint. I will just put it on a part of this signature for my underpainting. All right, and I'm going to put that in the water so I can use it again later. And we haven't done anything with the flip-flop. Another one of my favorite things is my flip-flop. And of course you can't see it because it's all black. There you go. You can see the pattern on this flip-flop. I've never found another one like that. But I love this pattern. And I love to stamp with it. I think that my stamp pads are going. I don't know if this is actually going to work. Let me put it on another piece of paper just to see if it will actually work. There goes my brayer again. My brayer is very unhappy. Yeah, my stamp pads are unhappy stamp pads. I'm going to put a little bit of color on there. And I got these at Tuesday morning. I don't know what brand they were. I took all the packaging out. These are supposed to be really good stamps, but they don't dry. I used them on something and 3 weeks later decided to emboss over them. They hadn't dried in 3 weeks. I don't know what's wrong with the stamp pads. I like the colors, but they don't dry. The ink does not dry. I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to put this aside, and 3 weeks from now I'm going to show you how it still smudges and smears because it hasn't dried yet. But of course it's been really hot, so maybe this time it will dry. But I do like my flip-flop pattern. That is my favorite flip-flop ever. I love that flip-flop. I kind of like that piece of paper too. I think it needs one right there in the center. Yeah, I look for all kinds of things to stamp with. Another thing I like to do, ooh, that's really purple. So, but I don't know why it won't dry. So I don't really want to use too much of them because if it doesn't dry, then it'll make me unhappy. I got all this ink on here still. It does not want to come off. It's in the grooves. Another thing I like to do with my flip-flop, especially, is make crown rubbings. So I need a new. My wet ones are not quite very wet anymore either. They're getting dry. Better use them up too. Okay, so I like. Hey, Aunt Sandra. Let's use some of my crayons, my Crayolas, and other brands too. Let's see what we got. I took all the wrappers off my crayons. I like that purple one. And I got the wrappers because I did one of my scavenger hunt pages with crayon wrappers, so I took them all off. So I do the crayon rubbings. Let's see if we can actually get it to work. Just like that. I think I need a new piece of paper. And I like the wax crayons for this kind of thing. And let me do it in a couple places. And get it kind of thick because the wax in the crayon resists ink or watercolor or all kinds of stuff. Let me use a light color too. We have a yellow or a white over here. Can hardly see it, but it is really there. You missed my voice. Well, I need to call you. I need to call you. All right, so I've got the dark and the light. Let me put these crayons back here, get them out of my way. And I have got these these are Crayola water or paint brushes, and I don't know if this is actually going to work. No, not really. I use watercolor, and I've got these really cheap watercolors here that I've not used. I think I used one, and it's kind of chalky. I didn't really like them. Kind of need to use them up. Put some water in there. And I'm going to get one of these big old brushes that's got a lot of fluff to it. And mix that pigment into the water so it's all watery. Okay, it doesn't want to mix in. These paints are not the best. But if you put a light color of watercolor over dark crayon, you'll get a resist. Okay, now what do I do with this stuff? I don't like it. I don't like it. Let me pour it out. I don't like that. And if you do a dark color over light, we've got some black here. Oops. Add some water to that. And clean off my brush. Put some water. Oh, really? You have some special crayons just for rubbing? That sounds interesting. So this is black watercolor. And let's see if I can get it over the crayon. You can see that where I have crayon, that the watercolor does not soak into the paper. The crayon is resisting, it's keeping that paper white. It's protecting the paper. And I probably got it too black. I probably should have put purple or something, not necessarily black. So I've taken some of that paint off, and you can see the pattern from the crayon, which I think is kind of fun. Kind of fun. So that is that. I'm going to put that in there. That's pretty much done. So I find all kinds of things to make rubbings on. I like to rub on stencils and all kinds of stuff. I do all kinds of these little cross-stitch meshes. I like to do rubbings on those too because they turn out really well. And I do like to stencil with these too, but I'm running out of time. I am running out of time. Oh, wow, I've never seen special crayons just for rubbings. Triangle shaped. I keep crayons with me just to do rubbings if I see something somewhere. I do. So, I've got quite a few papers here, and I did want to use my circle thing and just use some pens. Let's see, I've got purple. I've got a purple Bic. Just make some circles. Put lots of stuff on these pages so they're interesting. So that's all I do when I'm painting papers. I just keep grabbing stuff and combining different colors, and I just keep putting stuff down together. I do a little bit more stenciling. I had pulled some stencils out, but I got all caught up in showing some of the found stencils, I guess you call them. Things that I have found that I like to play with paint. And then I will just use these papers in random collage journals, since I used up most of my paper. So Laura comes on after me. Sometimes she comes in to say hi. I don't think I've seen her, but I've been busy making messes over here, so I might have missed her. If someone wants to put her link in so you can find her. She does stream right after me. I like making circles. So there's another painted paper that I can use in a collage. And I've got, ooh, this one would be kind of fun with some circles on it. Some doodle circles. I didn't leave myself enough time to play and doodle and make circles. I find making circles is very relaxing. And I do get distracted just making circles. And I have too many papers that have just tons of circles on them. But I use them up too, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Not too much. See, I'm lost in my circles. Sorry, guys. I just got lost in my circles. Oh, but it's just relaxing. It really is just relaxing to make circles. Another thing I like to stencil with is handmade stencils. This one I did in a video a long time ago, probably a year ago, maybe not quite that long, but it's just a magazine page that I did an accordion fold, and I used a paper punch and punched out circles because I like circles. I'm addicted to circles. I can make them kind of random, and I can fold it again and make more circles over here. This is kind of relaxing too. I did start out making a pattern, and I not made a pattern this way, but so here is a nice little stencil. Let me use it on this one. And I've got this black watercolor in there that I really don't want. Here, let me use that. And I will use some of this metallic. This one's more empathy. And I'm going to spounce on this handmade stencil. And so I got polka dots. And I have a polka dot stencil now. So you don't have to go out and buy stencils. You can make them. You can do the snowflake kind of fold and make snowflake kind of stencils. Flower-like stencils. I have one somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. I haven't made one since. But I do like doing that. Need to put that somewhere. And I did want to show this one because I have one, and I'm probably not going to pack it up, so I wanted to show it. The drink containers that you get at fast food places. If you look inside, they've got these wonderful triangle things, and they're raised to keep the moisture off of the bottoms of the cups. So I have cut those off to make stamps. They make really, really cool stamps, and it's really a cool shape. So I'm going to do it in black, but they stamp really well if your stamp pad actually works. Yeah, this stamp pad is just really unhappy, and I don't think I've got a fresh stamp pad out. I need to get a fresh stamp pad is what I need to do. But I like those little triangle thingies too. The snowflake, yeah, make snowflake stencils. They work really well. I think I might even actually have the one that I did in my video. Might be in my stencil thingy. Yes, it is. I made it out of a magazine page, and I just folded it up and cut it. And it makes a really good stencil. Let me put some more triangles on here. So there's something underneath. I don't like this huge pad. I don't really need a big pad. I don't have very many huge stamps, and I like to be able to grab the pad and dab it onto the stamp. I can't really maneuver this pad, so I'm just going to let this stupid thing die. I want a smaller one. When I needed the pad, I could not find a small one. No one seemed to have any, so I ended up getting this thing, and I really don't like it, so I'm letting it die. It's going to die. It's a slow, painful death, because I want a small one. I don't like this big old thing. So I know I can re-ink it, but I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's too cumbersome to deal with. I really like these little triangle things, though. So I'll probably cut those little triangles out so I don't have to hold on this whole drink thingamajigger. But you can see the shape, and it's indented, so then I'll have some more. Not that I need a ton, but I don't get these drink holders very often, so I might as well grab them while they're here. So there is the triangle marks. So I like those and just wanted to share that with you. And let's stencil with this thing. And this I folded. How did I do it? I probably folded that way. Nope. I probably folded it in quarters, cut out the ends, and then folded it the other way. So we can do one. We have enough time? No, we really don't have enough time. We'll pretend we have enough time. We'll pretend, and then we'll use it. So I just did something, fold it in half, and in half again. And then I cut along the folded edges Made sure that I didn't cut it all the way off so that there's something still connecting all of those. And let me make a big something here. And then I folded it this way and in half the other way. Lining up the cuts that I made so I know that they're about in the same place. And then I made some cuts there and on the other folded edge. And you can do this a little bit more precise. I'm really just messing around. And then I've got this strange looking stencil. I don't think you can see it. Let me put some paint on it so you can see it. Let me use a light purple. Got red in there. Let's put some purple on top. Just for time-wise. And then use it like a stencil. And eventually you get enough layers of paint on it that it's really stiff. I do use the plastic that covers magazines sometimes to make these from. So they're a little bit stiffer and they last a little longer. But there's a stencil. This one is just a little bit more intricate, a little bit better done. Let me put some purple on there so we can see it. I've used sprays with these too, and they work really well. They work okay. Of course, you don't have to do the whole stencil. You can use part of it just for the pattern. Use up all my paint. So it works. Snowflakes and circles and all that good stuff. Let me put a little bit of purple on this page. Over my circles. Just for something different. And that's all I do. I just keep building up my painted papers and just put stuff on top of other stuff. And I would probably grab some of those other things that I've got back there that's drying and stencil on top of those. So we've got quite a few little bits and pieces of papers now. Let me get these out of the way. And they all look kind of different. And I've done some on the book pages and some on just regular paper. And let's just recap on some of them that we did today. They're kind of dry now. It's so hot in here. They gotta be dry. I was going to use a pen and do some marks on top of that, which I can still do. Here's one with circles. I was going to put some more circles on top of that. Here's the little Q-tip one that didn't turn out real good. some really cool little papers. They'll be really neat in some collage and all that good stuff. Some different colors. The gold. We like the gold. So my time is up. I've got some more papers back there, but they're not quite as interesting. It is Laura's turn. I don't think did anybody put a link in for Laura? I did have something to eat before my stream today, but I am hungry. I want to eat again. So I hope that gives some people some answers to how I do my painted papers. And here's another one of my favorites, just so we know. I like the fun foam, the kids fun foam. I really like this a lot. Let me get a stamp. And what I do is I use ink and I ink it up. You can stamp it like that. And it gives you these lines, which I love, the squiggle lines. You can ink it up again. And I get this at Joann's in the kids department. It's a kids craft kind of thing. And it comes in a package with different patterns on it. But the squiggle lines is my favorite. So I've spritzed it with a little bit of water. And press again. I just love that. It's one of my absolute favorite things to use for painted papers and coloring papers. I didn't use very many of my stamps, but it's one of my favorites. Thank you, Button. There is a link to Laura. Is she streaming? Did she say she was streaming today? So I will leave you with the fun foam because that's one of my favorites. And I haven't used that in a while. It's lonely because I haven't used it. That's wet paint, so I don't want to put it on that. That's probably wet too. I don't want to put it on wet paint. But that is just another found stamp that's fun to use. So thank you everyone for being here and for painting papers with me. And anybody that I didn't say hi to, hello, hello. So glad you're here. And if you're just watching a recording, I hope that gives you some ideas on painting paper and just coloring. Just having some fun, putting some color on paper to use for whatever you need to. You can actually do this in actual journals, just to get color on the blank page so you have something to start with. And then you can collage on top of it or whatever you want to do. So if you're watching a recording, thanks for watching. Look at my horrible painted hands. I've got a gold fingernail. Thanks for watching.